New topic. The business leaders of America today are turning into robots. Seriously. I think we have a real problem today with the workforces of America and with business leaders. And I don't think they're connecting right. And I believe that's because our leaders are becoming more robotic on a day-to-day basis. So how do we fix that? If we're going to beat the robots, why are we becoming more like them? I think there's a better way to do it, and I don't think we have to be more robotic. But due to the accolades that are necessary for a certain position, combined with the metrics, the goals, the day-to-days that our leaders have to deal with, they've lost the ability to be human on a lot of levels. They need to be this bronze pillar of strength all the time, and I think it's not the best way to interact with our people. So, if the goal is to beat the robots, we need to be more human. We need to embrace the awesome human nature that we all have inside of us and not be afraid to let out some of those human emotions. So, I think the greatest human emotion that we all have is vulnerability. And I think there is value in vulnerability. And that's what I want to get into today. If we're going to be more human, less robotic, we really need to dive into the complexity of what the human brain is. This awesome thing above our shoulders is capable of a lot of great things. It's capable of a lot of crazy. So how do we hone it in? Everyone has a different way of managing that. I totally understand that. Some people understand the fences and the barriers of the exteriors of their brain, and they don't want to venture any further. They have a comfort zone, that's fine. They hang out there. But I think if we're going to get better, we need to blast through those barriers and those fences and actually dive in to the deeper parts of the human brain and the complexity of the human brain and understand them better and be more human. So vulnerability. Bear with me. I know the word. It doesn't relate to business on a lot of levels, especially business leadership. We're supposed to be proud and bold and invincible and lead the people around us. But there's two specific reasons that we need to be more vulnerable, and I'm going to go over those. First one is, it lets us connect with our people. So Gallup did a recent study, and the study stated that I think it was almost 51% of employees that leave the workforce leave specifically because of their direct manager or the leadership above them. The number is staggering. As an organization, you could have knocked it out of the park. Could have hit a home run. You could have recruited, hired, trained, paid an individual that was perfect for the position, and you only have a coin flip's chance that they're going to stay. You have the right leader, and you might have a 20-year employee that's contributing to your organization for a long time. But those don't really exist today. I'm telling you, I've worked for a lot of organizations, and there's not a lot of leaders that actually can connect with their people. So we have this barrier between the workforce of America and leadership. They don't understand leadership, and the leadership doesn't understand them. They've become so hardened by the environment they're in on a day-to-day basis that someone might come to them with, my kids are sick today, they're dealing with X, Y, and Z, or, I had a fight with my spouse, or a myriad of different other things. And to the business leader, it seems foreign. They think they're lying, they think they're making up excuses, they think they don't want to actually do the work. And that's not fair, that's not true. They just don't understand the workforce. And vice versa, the workforce looks at this robotic individual on a day-to-day basis. They see certain things happen and they go, you didn't have any emotion, you didn't say anything, you didn't do anything. What is wrong with you on a lot of levels? And they don't connect. So now we're back to that 51% chance they're probably going to leave your organization. We need to improve that. We need to be more human. We need to find value in vulnerability. That's the beauty. That's the important part we want to hit home today. So it lets us connect with our people. The other part that's important about connecting with the people we work with is when we task them with something. If we come at them from an authoritarian type of level and we're giving them specific demands or a task or something we need done, if we're robotic about that, their only motivation to completing that task is not to get written up and not to have an awkward conversation with a robot. You might get 60% effort, maybe 70% effort from that individual on that. They just don't want to deal with you. They'll do enough to keep their job until they find another job, but they're not going to really go at that task and really complete it with the vigor that it needs. However, if we come at them, if we've had an opportunity to actually be vulnerable and show vulnerability in the workplace and actually create a connection with the workforce and the people around us, now I come to you and I say, I need X, Y, and Z done. They understand me. They can relate to me. And they're going to hit that with a 90 to 100% vigor that's actually going to create a really great result. And because of that, they're actually going to become better workers, better human beings themselves, because they're completing the tasks for the right reasons. So, a couple things to think about there. That's number one. We connect with our workforce. We make them better. We become better. The second thing that vulnerability does, again, value and vulnerability, is it gives us this beautiful opportunity to hit a reset button on the crazy meter of life. So I want you to think about a meter. At the top, we're sitting at 100. At 100, we're about to lose it. We're going crazy. We're waiting for the next fly to land on our shoulders so we can just freak out at something. At 0, everything's all right. We can handle a lot. Now, as life hits us, and it hits us all, that meter rises on a day-to-day basis. For business leaders, sometimes that's at a more rapid pace because we have to deal with a lot more things, and we've become numb to a lot of those things. So, what being vulnerable does is it allows us to hit a reset button that takes our 70 back down to a 30 or a 20 or a 10. And it's beautiful because it lets us recharge our batteries. It lets us become human again. It lets us admit that everything is not perfect. Yes, I too have dealt with sick kids in the last few weeks. My kids have been up all night. I've been dealing with X, Y, and Z. I'm tired, but we're going to fight through it. We're going to do good things today. Or, you know what? I had a fight with my wife a couple weeks too. You know, marriage is tough, but we got to fight through. We got to do all these things. Be vulnerable. Allow yourself to hit that reset button. The worst thing we can do, driving into work in the morning, just a hot mess. We had a bad night. We had a worse morning. We saw our bank account. We had a fight. Whatever it might be. When we go to work today, we pour that first cup of coffee. We are waiting for the first interaction with an employee, the first email that comes through that doesn't sit right with us. Even worse, an interaction with a client that's going to throw us up from that 90 up to 100. And we don't want to get there. And the sad part is, a lot of us are there, and we missed an opportunity the night before to hit a reset button and bring us back down to that 30 level, where we come into work the next day, the best version of ourselves, the best version of ourselves for our employees, and it all collaboratively works together so we can be better. So, it allows us to connect with our workforce. It allows us to hit that reset button. Two very, very key points. There is value in vulnerability. Let's not be robots. Let's not be robotic. I know the last guy that got the promotion in your organization was robotic, but I am telling you, if your goal is to ride the staircase of career development and be the best you can be and beat out everybody else in your organization for those promotions, there's not a whole lot to it. If you're trying to be a robot, the only thing you really need to do is be more human. I promise you it will work. Connect with the people that work around you. Talk to them about their lives. Be better. Talk to them about what they're dealing with. Talk to them about what you're dealing with. Let them be better. Let you be better. Let's defeat the robots.